An empire unlike any other. An introduction. The British Empire was truly vast. At its peak, it covered about a quarter of the Earth's land. Imagine that. One country controlling so much territory. Nearly 1 in 4 people on the planet lived under British rule. This empire did not appear overnight. It grew over hundreds of years. It started small and expanded, bit by bit, the empire on which the sun never sets. The British Empire stretched across so many time zones, from Canada to Australia, from India to parts of Africa. British influence was felt far and wide. This global reach had profound consequences. It shaped the world we live in today in many ways. The story of the British Empire is complex. It is a story of ambition and adventure. It is also a story of conflict and control. Many different peoples and cultures were brought together. Sometimes this was peaceful, often it was not. Understanding this empire means looking at all sides. We must see its achievements and its less glorious aspects. This helps us learn from history. The British Empire is a major chapter in world history. The hunger for more early reasons for going global. Why did Britain build such a large empire? Several factors pushed Britain outwards. One of the earliest drivers was trade. Britain wanted valuable goods from other parts of the world. Spices, sugar, cotton and tea were highly prized. Setting up colonies helped secure these trade routes. Another key motivation was competition. Other European nations were also building empires. Spain, Portugal, France and the Netherlands were major rivals. Britain did not want to be left behind. Gaining more territory meant more power and prestige. This rivalry often led to wars. Resources were another big attraction. New lands often meant new sources of wealth. Gold, silver, timber and fertile land for growing crops. These resources fueled Britain's growing economy. The Industrial Revolution in Britain also created a demand. It needed raw materials for its factories and markets to sell its goods. Some people were driven by a sense of adventure. Others were motivated by religious zeal to spread Christianity. Some believed it was Britain's destiny to rule. They thought they were bringing civilization to other peoples. New worlds beckon expansion in the Americas. Britain's imperial journey began across the Atlantic. The Americas were a major focus for early expansion. In the early 17th century, English settlers established colonies. Jamestown in Virginia was one of the first, founded in 1607. These became known as the 13 Colonies. They attracted people seeking religious freedom or new economic opportunities. They developed a strong sense of self-government. The 13 colonies grew unhappy with British rule, leading to the American Revolutionary War. Section 4, the Eastern Prize, Britain's hold on India. After the loss of the American colonies, India became increasingly important. It was often called the jewel in the crown of the British Empire. Britain's involvement in India began with trade. The East India Company was a powerful trading corporation. Initially, it focused on trading spices, silk and other goods. It established trading posts along the Indian coast. Over time, the East India Company's power grew. It became more than just a trading company. It started to get involved in Indian politics. India was not a single unified country at that time. It was made up of many different kingdoms and states. The company exploited rivalries between Indian rulers. It raised its own armies, fought wars and made treaties. Gradually, it gained control over vast swathes of Indian territory. A major turning point came in 1857 with the Indian Mutiny. The rebellion was eventually suppressed by the British. In 1858, India came under direct rule from the British Crown. Section 5. New Frontiers, Africa and the Pacific Dominions. The 19th century saw another great wave of British expansion. This was particularly focused on Africa. European powers engaged in the scramble for Africa. Britain acquired vast territories, from Egypt to South Africa, and colonies in West and East Africa. Economic motives were key. Africa provided raw materials. Strategic interests also played a role. The Suez Canal was vital. Beyond Africa, Britain expanded in the Pacific. Australia was claimed by Captain Cook, initially a penal colony. Free settlers arrived later, forming the Commonwealth of Australia in 1901. New Zealand also became a British colony. Australia, New Zealand and Canada became dominions. Section 6. Builders of the realm, faces of the empire. The British Empire was not built by abstract forces alone. It was shaped by the actions of many individuals. Some were famous rulers and politicians. Queen Victoria reigned during much of the empire's peak. Her name became synonymous with the era. Prime ministers like William Gladstone and Benjamin Disraeli oversaw imperial expansion. They made key decisions about colonial policy. Military leaders and explorers also played crucial roles. Figures like Robert Clive were instrumental in the East India Company's conquest of India. General Wolfe's victory at Quebec secured Canada for Britain. Explorers like David Livingstone and Henry Morton Stanley ventured into Africa. Their expeditions often paved the way for colonial claims. Colonial administrators were the on-the-ground managers of empire. Men like Lord Curzon, Viceroy of India, wielded enormous power. They governed vast territories and millions of people. They implemented British policies, built infrastructure and institutions. It is also important to remember the countless ordinary people. Soldiers, sailors, merchants, missionaries and settlers all contributed to the empire's existence. Section 7. The Sunset's Legacy in a Modern World. The British Empire, for all its power, did not last forever. The 20th century saw its gradual decline and eventual dissolution. The two world wars significantly weakened Britain. They drained its resources and manpower. Nationalist movements grew stronger in many colonies. People demanded self-rule and independence. Figures like Mahatma Gandhi in India inspired millions. They challenged British authority through peaceful means. After World War II, the pace of decolonization quickened. Britain began granting independence to its colonies. India and Pakistan became independent in 1947. Many African nations gained independence in the 1950s and 1960s. Most former colonies chose to join the Commonwealth. The legacy of the British Empire is immense and multifaceted. It left behind a global spread of the English language. Many legal and political systems in former colonies have British roots. However, the empire also left behind deep scars. Understanding this complex past is crucial.